Akame got killed, or Kiru, episode 2. This episode, it was cool to me. You know what I'm saying? I liked it, especially the fight between Tatsumi and Ogre. I thought that was the shit. But let's just go ahead and get into what this episode was actually about. This episode, man, it starts off with Tatsumi being shown around the headquarters by Leon. He's introduced to the other members of Night Raid, and that's where we kind of get some introduction as to who these guys are, a little bit into their personalities. It starts off with Shelly, and she's kind of like the airhead of the group. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what the book that she was reading implied or whatever. She kind of says stuff without thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what her character is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And then we meet. It's funny because when I read the manga or whatever, I called her Mine for a long time, like M-I-N-E. So I thought it was just Mine. I was like, it can't be mine. You know what I'm saying? Because this is, you know, a manga that we're talking about here. They're gonna have weird names, so there's no way her name is mine. But that's how they're pronouncing it here. They're just saying mine. So I have to throw the Mine part out of my head. You know what I'm saying? So we introduced to her character, and she's just like how she is in the manga. She's a raging bitch for no particular reason. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you won't want to her character much later on, just like Tatsumi did much later on or whatever. But we introduced to her character, and we are introduced to Lubbock, who is a peeping Tom. He's a fool. We're introduced to Bulat, you know what I'm saying? The guy who was wearing the armor in the previous episode, in case you didn't know. He says it himself. His name is Bulat, and he is like a strong, you know what I'm saying? He used to be of the Imperial Army, you know what I'm saying? He's a strong guy, but Leon says that he's gay, and he doesn't deny it, so there's that. But this episode was pretty much Tatsumi's decision on whether or not he was going to join up with the Night Raid. And upon meeting the leader, you know what I'm saying, he comes to a decision that he's going to join them because he sees the corruption within this city or whatever. And he at first calls them like assassins for justice, you know what I'm saying. But I think in the end he realizes that he can make money being a part of this group, and he can send it back home. And whether or not he goes back home is irrelevant. What matters is his village is going to be financially stable and financially set. So in the end, he's perfectly fine with that. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's how it should be, you know. As long as he's sending money back home, whether he physically goes back home or not, you know, it's irrelevant. And at this point in time, he's also remembering being with Sayo and Yesu or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He's using their deaths as his motivation to continue doing what he's doing in this city, you know what I'm saying? Like the killing part, even though that's not something that he's accustomed to doing, he's doing that, and he is tasked with being trained by Akame, which is the funniest shit ever because she's so robotic that he just does not like her. He's just kind of like, this girl, I hate this girl. You know what I'm saying? He's tasked with that. So they're in charge of cooking, and he has to help her cook or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It shows a previous flashback where he was training alongside his two friends. He was peeling potatoes, and in this scene, he was shaving an apple and also peeling potatoes. So it's something that he's accustomed to. And he's tasked with going fishing as well. He's supposed to catch some tuna or whatever, and he only caught 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the many that she caught or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But he's right now in this episode, the whole time he was trying to win over Akame. Like that's what his main focus was. It seemed like he really couldn't care less about anyone else. Because for the most part, everybody's on board, or they could just care less except for mine. And in his head, Akame, you know what I'm saying? So he's trying to win Akame over or whatever. He's just kind of like, no, Akame has to be won over by me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to eventually get this girl on my side. I'm going to boast in front of her. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to win this no matter what. That's what he's thinking anyway. But Leon was discussing with the boss a mission that they were offered or whatever, and it was to take out Ogre and Gamel. And honestly, those two names together just sound like Gargamel to me. Smurfs reference if you don't get that. But Gamel is a oil merchant, and Ogre is a part of like the Imperial Army or whatever. And those two do some real fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the most recent thing they did was they locked up this woman's fiance and they had him killed and all that type of shit for no particular reason other than they wanted to. You know, they abusing their power. and they accept the job. But Mine, Mine, Lubbock, and Shelly are away on another mission or whatever. They're gone, and Bulat is gone as well. They're all gone, so the only ones left are Akame, Leon, the leader, and Tatsumi. So there's two of those guys, and these guys always seem somewhat hard to get to, which is funny because in the episode and in the manga that wasn't the case. So that's why I'm just kind of like, that whole thing where it's kind of like, yeah, man, these guys are real hard to get to. Doesn't seem like that you got to them relatively easy. But Leon and Akame are tasked with killing Gamel, the oil merchant. And they catch him slipping like a motherfucker. I mean, like, Leon just yokes him, and Akame just impales him, and that's the end of that guy. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? And Tatsumi is tasked with killing Gamel. He's tasked with killing Ogre. Like, that's his assignment, and, you know, he's hoping to succeed in this mission so that he can rub it into Akame's face. Like, that's what he wants to do. But before he gets sent on his mission, we get a little bit of Akame's backstory. Thank you for walking inside of here. Come on in. What's up? Sorry. Alright. We get a little bit of Akame's backstory or whatever, and she was raised as an assassin. Her and her sister were bought by the capital, and they were raised as assassins and all that type of stuff, man. So she just grew up around an environment of killing. So that's just what she's accustomed to, you know. And this doesn't really sway or change Tatsumi's mind. He's still just like, I gotta, you know, impress her in a way. I have to show her that I'm valued in this team and get some respect or whatever. So he lures Ogre away, you know what I'm saying, with the notion that he has to tell him something, but then he just gets down on his knees, pause on that, and he's like, I want to join the Imperial Army, please give me a recommendation. And the guy's like, no, just go through the process like everyone else. And then Tatsumi pulls out his sword, you know what I'm saying, Ogre pulls out his sword, you know what I'm saying. This is sounding so gay right now with they both pull out their weapons, and Tatsumi is like real quick, you know what I'm saying, so he gets a slash in on that guy, you know what I'm saying, and Ogre falls down, and Tatsumi thinks that he's won, but Ogre stands up, and, you know, they start to have a battle, and it's an intense scene. I mean, I like the way it's animated with the destruction of the ground and the debris still flying up, you know what I'm saying, surrounding these characters. It's very, very well animated, you know, and that's when Ogre starts to tell, you know, the story about how he got the guy arrested. He was like, who gave y'all this job? Was it that woman whose fiance I just had killed? I knew I should have killed her, but I can still do it now. Like, I can frame her family for something, and then I can murder her family in front of her, then her, after I kill you. And that pisses Tatsumi off, you know what I'm saying? He fucking just ultimately destroys this dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, he fucking cuts his arms off and just launches up in the air, and then he slices his body up in this X pattern formation, and dude falls down dead. You know, and Tatsumi goes back to the base, you know what I'm saying? He's just like, hey, I completed this mission. And he's like, what about that? Akame, huh? Look at that. I came back, gave a report, and I'm still here, no scratches. And then Akame starts undressing Tatsuya, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And then she's just like, oh, thank goodness you're all right. I once had a teammate who was too arrogant to say that he had been poisoned in battle and he died. But it seems like nothing happened to you. I'm so happy that you're all right. And then that's when it was revealed that the reason why Akame was so hard on him was because she didn't want him to die. She's quite fond of him, actually. She didn't want him to die. That's why they had him cooking with her, you know what I'm saying? So that they can have a bit of communication around cooking and around a dinner table. So it was shown that she had, not those type of affections for him, but that she cared about him enough to not want him to die. You see what I'm saying? So he had to swallow that humble pie or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They shook hands and all that type of stuff. You know, but then they say that you'll be training with mine next, or Mine, as I still call her. You'll be training with her next. And he's just like, what the fuck? And then out in the distance, Mine just like, I just got a cold shiver down my spine. So it's pretty funny, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you read the manga, you know why it's funny, the reaction with these two characters, with Mine or Mine and Tatsumi. So if you read the manga, you know why that's funny, you know what I'm saying? But that's how this episode ends, man. Like I said, I like the episode. I thought it was a cool episode. I thought it was well animated, especially that fight scene, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was cool, you know? I'm loving what I'm seeing so far of Akame got killed or Akame got killed, whichever one you want to call it. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you like this episode or not. Let me know if you read the manga, if you like the series or not. Vash Stampede, gone.